Firstly, good morning. What an honor. I don't know if you all actually, I mean, you do, because if you've heard Lily's story, read the book, first I want to just thank our hostess and the whole family of the Schenkens, because when you do something at the Schenkens, the whole family are involved. We've already had Stephen on the phone, and I just really want to say, you know, Lily really does not need an introduction. And if there's anything that we can learn today, that we can take away, we are living in very special times, and each and every one of us needs so much chizuk, so much positive input, because we need to get through our days. I just said to Lily, when I read her book, I cried and I laughed and I cried and I closed the book and I wanted to start again. And I said, this gives us real chizuk. This gives us a reason to be living, to be doing, to just being. And I thought, you know, Tuesday mornings, for those of you that join us, the Tuesday morning class has actually been going for over 11 years. Okay, and all the different participants have changed and moved and everything. I think Dalia might be, if she's on screen, Dalia Resnick is the first member that has stayed through all the way, and everybody has. But we've been on Zoom for a long time. And what better way was there for those of us who could get here and be here than to have Lily here with us? So I thank you. And and I don't know how many of you know that this star, how many of you have been on Israeli TV telling people about being Jewish? How many of you have TikTok followers? 1.5 million. 1.5 million. Okay. And how many stars, what they think and call themselves stars in Hollywood, wish to have people looking to see what Lily has to share. So we're honored. We thank Hashem for having you here with us, and that we should just have many years of good health, sharing, and growth for really all of Klal Yisrael. And I have to thank Daphne for bringing Safta here. Am I allowed to call you Safta? Safta.
That is how
yeah, so we're going to launch, and I think would Safta like to start with questions, or you want to give us a little bit? What do you think, Daphne? What should we do?
I think questions is quite good.
Okay. So,
and sorry, I can say you don't have to be afraid. You can ask everything what you want. If I can, I answer. If not, I can't.
Let's go. So I actually we have here in the audience, and I just understand, because Daniela's just told us that her daughter Orly had to write a project on someone that inspires her. And she chose Lily. She chose Lily Ebert. And she walks around with her book every day. And I'm wondering, maybe you have a question either from you or from Orly that you've spoken about with the book that you maybe want to start with. They're putting you on the spot, sorry.
We have a signed copy. We went to get the signed copy. But I went to find the book, and then I remember taking it to school every day because she's read it. She's 10, read it. Very inspired by it, yeah. So I think she was, so before you spoke to Dov, and before Dov uncovered some of the secrets about the banknotes, had you talked about your story before, or was it, did it take you a long time to feel that you were ready to talk about it?
I never thought how I do. I don't speak that I know how to talk. I speak from heart. I tell what I feel. And that is how I do. And for me, it is the biggest privilege what can happen. Because 75 years ago, I don't believe that I will be not 75 years later, a day later, with our generation, not me, the whole generation. You know, we were, they don't need us, they said. Jewish people, we don't need. We have to kill all the Jews, but it stays still alive. And that was the aim. That I am here, ashamed about it. And when I saw what happens really, then I said, why I am alive 1,000, not 1,000. It must be a reason. So I thought, when I had children, grandchildren, Hashem helped me to be not mother, I would never thought, grandmother, great-grandmother, fantastic. All my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. One is better than the other. So, I must have a aim. No, nothing is on this world without a aim. So I promised myself, if I stay alive, I will tell the world what really happened. It was not easy, very difficult, because to build a life and live also in past, it was not easy. But I saw I have to do it, because if our generation is gone, It is, in a way, thank God it is gone. I hope never will come back again, this terrible time, what we went through. But even so, the world has to know what can happen. And why? For only one reason, that we saw one of us is better than anybody else. And we have to know one thing, we all are human beings. Everybody has different tasks to do in this world, and that is what we are doing. And we cannot say that anybody is better than somebody else. We should be tolerant with each other, and instead hatred, we should be love. Somebody is different than I am, is not better or worse than I am. It's only different, and we should appreciate it.
What's the story of your bank?
Do you want to share the story of the banknote? Because Deborah will be only ordering her book before she even leaves here. She's better at Amazon than me. She can just go on Amazon Prime. I have to send mine to my son to do. So would you like to? Oh, we'll get you the banknote.
Okay, so let 1 minute where to begin. Because when this banknote, where I get in Auschwitz, I get it for the soldier. It was a Buchenwald.
In Germany. After they walked from Auschwitz on the death march to Buchenwald, which is in Germany.
I was in Auschwitz. The worst place, it was not on this world. It was a very, when you heard to speak about hell, that was.
So this was after liberation. So after liberation, she wants to know where you got the banknote from.
After the liberation, I was taken to Buchenwald, and there I was taken. A soldier, an American Jewish soldier, wanted to write me something that we made. Looked for a paper, could not find, so had only German money. So on the end of the money, he said, he wrote me, good luck for your new life. And that is what I have had this book. And for this time, I am sure I appreciated this book.
We kept it
because that was the first thing, really, when I was liberated. But I get, because we were not used to get things.
Tell them what happened when Dov saw it. What did Dov do when he saw it for the first time?
When Dov saw this banknote, first of all, he doesn't spend it. He asked, "What is that?" And then I told, I even didn't put it up to them. So
you hadn't looked at the banknote before that time. She just kept it.
She kept it in the library.
Luckily, I am a old cat. So I keep everything, and I know I put it away like I know where they are. So I had it. And when she said it is banknote, and it is written on it, what is that?
Also on the side it's written, it looked like his name in Hebrew letters.
Chaim.
We couldn't read it, we couldn't work out what it said.
But was written on the first of a note, and on the end of where you had a bit of
edge of the
Hebrew. So we looked.
So it also said assistant to Rabbi Schechter.
And that is what it says. It says, who he is, I am assistant to Rabbi Schechter. And then my grandson, great-grandson, he is very good to finding all things. He looked at it. He said, I will find you who he was. And I laughed. I really laughed. What will you find? What? But very quick, he find out, not that Rabbi Schechter, that he was not alive anymore, but he only recently passed away. About 2 years ago. But his son was. And for that he then developed.
Someone, when they saw that it was the assistant to Rabbi Schechter, they sent an article about who this assistant was, what his name was. And it was this Chaim Shulman. And they worked out the name.
How they find out on the end. And in the end, I get in touch with Chaim Schechter. He was not alive anymore, but his family, with his son, I get them in touch.
And they had a Zoom meeting. You met him on Zoom.
We can have a look. Maybe Tsipi has actually got the clip there of the meeting. Tsipi, have you got the clip there of the meeting? Maybe you want to share that with us for a few minutes, and you'll just tell me, and I will. If you share it, yeah. If you share that,
I'll bring it up now. Give me 1 second.
Okay, and I'm going to put on.
Robertson, it's muted.
She knows. I think it's so she can play a video.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So nice to meet you.
It is so nice to meet you. I can't believe it. Wow.
Neither can I.
No.
It's a real privilege to meet you.
It is a privilege to meet you.
It brings tears to my
Me
eyes,
too.
really.
It's like, how did these two little dots meet? Out of millions of dots, how did these two dots meet? It's such a miracle.
I was born in Hungary. We were a middle-class Jewish family. We were 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys. I had the best parents what anybody could only dream of. So we had a very peaceful, nice life up to the German invaded Hungary. We arrived in Auschwitz with my mother and with my 2 sisters and my younger brother. There we had to stand in 5 and go before a man. With one movement, he sent people or to right or to left. Me and with my 2 sisters were sent to the right. My mother, my younger brother, and my younger sister was sent to the left. People who were sent to the left, they were taken straight to the crematorium. The camp was so big that it was divided for women, men, different pieces. And between that was also electrified borders. So it was impossible, would be impossible to go out from there. I lost nearly all my family there. We have very few only survived. I arrived in Auschwitz in the age 18 in July of 9. I was taken away in October 29. We were taken to Altenburg in Germany, and we worked in an ammunition factory. The Americans liberated us, and they didn't know what to do with us. I met this soldier, and he wanted to wish good luck. He wanted to write something. Looked for a piece of paper, they couldn't find a piece of paper, so he took out German money, and he wrote on the side for the money, he wrote, good luck to your new life. It was for me so important that I kept it. We had no belonging. We had this, what we had on, nothing else.
We stumbled across this banknote, and the kindness of the Liberator really touched my heart. The next morning I took to Twitter and I posted it, and I left my phone for a few hours and I got back on and I saw that it had 8,000 notifications on Twitter. To date, over 2 million people have seen the tweet. It turned into an international hunt for the soldier. We managed to find him within 24 hours.
I could not meet him, but I could meet their family. So we had some special feeling. I cannot explain it even. I see them, they are here, but somehow it doesn't sound true that I met the family from the soldier that gave me this money after more than 70 years. It doesn't sound true. When I was in the camp, I promised myself one thing. If I survive, I will tell the world what really happened, that the world should not forget it. And I keep my promise. I went back with my 3 grandchildren to the camp, Auschwitz. Now you see, I am showed you. You are not alive anymore. I am here. I went in the camp when I wanted to go in, but not alone, even not with my children only, with my grandchildren. And that was one of my proudest moments.
Memories.
Sorry, the question was that Laura just asked Lily if when she watches the film, how that makes her feel.
When something so unreal happens to you, you never forget. That is not like something happened. Something happened, but normally should not happen, cannot happen. That happens. That stays with you ever.
Anger towards them, like bubbling inside of you all the time, like the feeling of anger. Does it ever leave?
I worked out one thing. I don't let, because normally it happened to people, and quite a lot. I even don't care I don't like to show it and tell for you, but quite a lot of people after liberation who were liberated suddenly came out from this terrible thing. And then the eye opens and you say, then you say, when you are so terrible situation, we are humans, that we have fight to survive, that we have something to do. But then suddenly, the fight succeeded. We are alive. We are here. And now, so where have the other? Where is my mother, my siblings, everybody, my home? Where I am? Who am I? And then begin. Then quite a lot of people could not deal with it and took also their own life after liberation because they saw what really happened. So but I know one thing. I promised myself that when I survive, I could not achieve what I promised, that I will change the whole world, that the world will understand and will be a better place. That I could not achieve. But I promise that is what I will try to do today to make the world better. And I try.
And you do it very well.
Luckily, I say, no, but I will have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the world, because the world has to, and not a lot of people survive, and even less could speak about it. It is not easy. It was not easy, but I I did what I promised, and very quick I went out in schools, in different organizations. I spoke in the parliament in England. I speak in the palace. I spoke in everywhere where I can, because I say, if we are quiet, and what will happen? It will be forgotten. Nobody will know about it. And something like that, it cannot get forgotten. Not because it is important to know, but it is important to know what can happen when we are not tolerant with each other. When we think, I am better than somebody else. Somebody else is, because that is what they thought. But one thing, these Jews, they are not human. They are not worthwhile to be on this earth. And we can think more for different people. And that is what we should do. We should be. Hashem gave to everybody life, live it, enjoy it, your life, and make this world. What is the Jewish, what we want to achieve? What is, why are we here? To make the world a better place. That is our top key.
So it's not the anger, it's the love that you share. It's the love that you share.
Yeah.
You always say something, you made a choice. You could choose either anger, hatred, regret.
Oh, choose to will. And luckily, have a look.
I can vouch for them.
And Hashem, I have a few great children, grandchildren, all of them. Birth, but every one of them, Baruch Hashem. So I achieved a lot. And I could have given up. What would the world lose? Thank God.
The world is a better place having you in it.
It is, because it has, the world is built to get forward, to have tomorrow. And thank God I have. What did she say?
Dr. Edith Eger. Did you know Dr. Edith Eger?
Yeah.
Have you ever met? Did you know her from, or you just know who she is? Okay.
No.
She lives in La Jolla, but we could maybe facilitate a Zoom meeting if she wants. She wrote a book. She wrote a book called The Choice, and for me, the Hashem in the world is, and seeing your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, we living in a life of Torah and mitzvot and love, and she shares that beautiful love. But we need to keep that in that place, which is so amazing. But I would love to. We'll see. Maybe we'll facilitate something. Yeah.
Thank you. Say that because I'm from Stanmore and we were blessed to have Gina Turgle.
Yeah. Gina living. You know Gina Turgle.
You knew Gina Turgle.
Who?
Gina Turgle. I'm from Stanmore, and the late Gina Turgle was the same. She was my neighbour, and the work that you all do, and we were so blessed as a community because to learn and to be able to keep that, it's just unbelievable. I mean, without people like you, I can almost understand when people deny it, because when you see the footage, even for us as a generation, like it's impossible. And so the vital thing is for us and for our children to be able to hear it. And obviously it's going to be harder for the families to keep it.
Because it is impossible to understand who does not watch that. I can talk up to tomorrow morning and you will not be clever. because it was something what it cannot happen. It happened something what cannot happen. And when it happens, you cannot survive it. And not enough to survive it, begin, because you had to begin that. That is the most difficult part. No, they took everything. They took, first of all, your parents, the beginning, your home. You have no money, no country, nobody wants you. You are here alone in this world. And you have to build a new life.
Someone asked, how old were you when it began?
I was 18.
But in Hungary, they only came in
At the end.
1944.
Yeah.
May 1944. They
But
only
the
came
younger,
in.
you could not be. Younger children were not here. Younger people were not here for these countries who were there. Because everybody was, they killed everybody. They let only alive a few people for two reasons. First of all, the crematorium could not work. They worked day and night, but they could not work more quicker. That is very fair. But not only that, the German men were soldiers. And in Germany, everything had to work. So why they let us, a few young people who were still, they think they can still use for work. And when they cannot work anymore, we finish them then. For that little food is worth to leave them alive. A small, when we get weak, then you change. You have your people what we do what we want. That was the system. It was no problem. We do.
Your pendant. Your pendant.
My pendant. Where is it?
It's there, it's there.
That, first of all, how it survived.
Yeah, who gave it to you?
No, I got it when I was a young child, 4 or 5. So nobody saw it, and it was, I even didn't use it. When I was so young, I didn't have it every day. My mother kept it, and every Shabbos I get it only, or some special occasion. So that was very special, this little pendant. Now, when these bad times came, then my brother put it in the heel for my mother's shoe. It doesn't sort what will really happen. We saw it because we know now that we had to give up everything, what it is, gold or radios, everything. We could not keep Jews. So he put it in, that was little things, he could put it in the heel of my mother's shoe. And then we were taken to one day to the railway station and put it all over. 70, 80 people, men, women, children, babies, in a train, in a wagon. And the journey began. We didn't know where. We thought then what they said, what they was that they take us to a place to work. And from then we will go home. So it will not be easy, but we will somehow survive. And we were the most important. We were with parents and children, everybody together. We would not dream what will happen. And then they put us on a train, men, women, children. It was summer, this terrible heat, babies there. They closed the door and their journey began. To explain that, it is, you can, this journey, what that was. And even then, but we had still, we will survive. We don't know that this journey is going to the hell of. When we arrived, there was waiting a man.
Before you get there, tell about your mother, what your mother did with her shoes.
Yeah, it was the last day. But I must say that before my brother put jewelry, a few jewelry in the heel for my mother's shoes. Just the last day. I don't know why. My mother said we should swap shoes. So she gave me her shoes and I gave her mine. When we arrived, then it was selection again. And old people, children, babies was selected to one side to go. And I, with my two sisters, was the other side. Then we didn't know we had not the faintest idea what it was. But the old people, stayed to the crematorium. We had not the faintest idea what happens. But us, they took it to a big empty place. They said, Andres, leave everything, you will have a shower. We really had a shower. And we got back to get our belongings, but everything is gone. For us, because we were one of the last people who arrived from Hungary. All the truth is, when we arrived, 70–80% of the Jewish population were not alive. We didn't know. So when we arrived, they said, Andres, we had really a shower, then we went out, we get to look for our belongings. Everything was gone, but they left only the shoes. That is important to say, because people say, because what happened to the transport before us, ours was one of the last of one before. They were taken everything and they were given these wooden shoes, these clogs, without socks, without, then the feet break You afraid? You had nothing. You had an infected, and that was one thing. But then let only to have our shoes. So in the heel on the shoe was this little golden pendant, a few earrings for my mother, a few other jewelry what my brother put in. And that is safe. That was safe.
When did you know? When did you find it? When after did you find that it had jewelry after the war? Like when you were liberated, or you knew it was there? Did you know it was in your shoes?
Of course I know. It was in the, how can I explain that? We had nothing, but I had my shoes because for our transport, and they have not taken me. So
you saw your brother putting them in the shoe.
Yeah.
You saw your brother.
Yeah, we know. We know that. I know that it was.
She's told them.
But the trouble was, it doesn't help that I know. It was not helping because they took the shoes. But for us, they by chance left it because people think it cannot be they took the shoes. It is true. But for us, with this, like to keep the shoe. So I have bought. Now, I was in the camp. We have nothing, not a paper, not a dress with a bucket, nothing. So where you put this jewelry? I had nothing. Well, it was in a bad place. You have nothing.
It was in your shoe until they wore out.
But after the shoe, it was okay but there in the camp it wore off the heel of the shoe. So where can I put it now? And I wanted to keep it because I thought if I something from at home, not the word of it, but something. You know what? But even so, if they would somebody offer me a piece of bread for all the jewelry, I would have given it. Would be very happy, but nobody. So after the war, I had.
Where did you keep it?
Oh, when they, where could multiple jewelry?
I couldn't believe how you kept it.
Keep it on the day and night, like that. And you could not even because you had to stand twice a day there. So I put the jewelry in the piece of bread what we get. And this bread we looked after, believe me. Not the jewelry. And like that, it should survive. It is today, it is very important. Then it was even not only, but today, the only thing was at home.
Said your sisters were to the right with you. And what happened to them?
No, they took me with my two sisters, two younger sisters.
One second, wait, let me just put it on for you.
That's okay, I've got the idea, I've got the idea.
Can you go back onto mute, please? Thank you. Thanks so much. She was asking about your sisters. Well, the question was what happened to your sisters. The question was what happened to your sisters when you both went together. What happened to your sisters when you got there? Did you stay together? How did you manage with your sisters?
With my two younger sisters, we stayed together. I looked at them, but It was selection service. The worst thing was how that was terrible. Everything, the whole situation. But the worst was the selections. Because then I know already what happens with the people who they take away, but I will never more. I wanted to look after my sister. So one day, it was really selection. And they said for one of my sisters, come. She went already out for the where we stand. And I decided, no. They took everybody, and I didn't know, but I know what they want. I will not let my sister take me away. I took her hair. I don't know how it succeeded. Hashem had wanted it because it should not have. Normally, they would have Yuka was married, and then my other sister would also survive. I don't know what happened, but I did it with my mind. I did it because I said, no, that they will not take. Now they know what it is. I took her hand and I said, go. Luckily, my sister listened to me, never, and but when someone doesn't look, I don't know what happened. And like that, my sister survived. And with her, with my other two sisters, after the war, we went first to Switzerland. There I was in Agudat Israel, the Jewish community. First the Swiss took us in, but from there the Jewish communities took the few survivors, because the Swiss was ashamed really that before the war, a group of people went in Switzerland on the border asking to let them in, and they didn't. And they know that these people, if they don't let them in now, the Germans will take and kill them. And they didn't let them. But other side, I was in Switzerland. I cannot speak against the Swiss because I was there for a year. Not there. Then when I was there, they're not the Swiss, the Jewish community, the Mizrahi, Agudat Israel, Shomer HaTzayir, the other organization looked after these few Jews, who they were. Children. The children, what the Swiss know what they have done. They were, for the world, they wanted to only little children up to 3 years old. I looked at it. If no one was alive anymore, they could not find. So but the Jewish organization, how they managed to check them, how they did it, I don't know. They let us young, they all adopted their ages.
No. Didn't you change your age? You changed.
I was one of them. I was one with my sisters. One of these children who they let in. And like that.
21. We were 21.
Then, yeah, when it was 1 year earlier, 21, but not that was not 3. And like that, I survived. After that, could we stay in Switzerland? Maybe yes, maybe not. A few stayed. But I decided I want to go so far from Europe as far as I can. And luckily, I get with my sister, I get certificate, you know what, to get to Israel. Because quite a lot, most really came black, not with certificate, come in. And I came in. They don't ask how, don't ask a lot of questions. The only method was then not ask, do. But we came with certificate. And I came to Israel. So then I went in Israel. Have you heard the kibbutzim? So it was Mizrahi, Poali Agudat. I went to Poali Agudat Israel. We lived in Israel for a year.
On the kibbutz.
Year?
In the kibbutz for
On the
you?
kibbutz. Which
No.
kibbutz?
I don't know how that's
Oh, a few years ago, I see that one then.
When and then you met Saba.
Yeah.
Which kibbutz were you on?
Holocaust.
Holocaust Chaim.
But you were there.
Not then.
It was luxury. It was a holiday. When I went there, that is what I will tell you something. To have some food. Then, first of all, the year was also after Shemitah. The kibbutz were the first year on this place. Wow. They had no, we had the food, but they said you had meat, chicken, or the chicken died, or you died. Then you could have a piece of chicken.
There was nothing there, but it was
We
luxury.
went out of the, we shouldn't have, no, sorry. And we took out from the carrots.
Carrots from the ground.
From the ground. But we wanted something to eat.
Wow.
Not because they had the people don't have. They shared what they don't have. No, don't misunderstand what I said. They were amazing.
How long were you on the kibbutz?
Maybe a year. I don't say exactly now.
And then you moved to meet your husband.
No, then I went. Not yet. Then I know that is not for me, kibbutz. I'm independent. Then I tried, I had nothing. I had 6 pennies. But I get 6 pennies. Okay, that was a bit more, not a lot. And with this, I began my new life. But I tried to travel. I went to Tel Aviv and I asked where I can ask somewhere to go. But the trouble was I never went only for me or for my 2 sisters. We had a group of people. And I had to look after everybody. So how could we survive? To find work for everybody. It was not easy. Then to have that, I needed to make connections. Without knowledge, without Hebrew, without anything.
But with Lily.
Yeah, you have such a
Had to
fire.
To survive. You will be surprised, all of you, without all of us. If you have to do, you do it.
How did you find a place to live in Tel Aviv?
Yeah,
There with only 6.
that is what I went. I asked people to go, but who can give some? What can we do? And like that. Then I rented a flat with a few other ones. A hellhole. Like that. Again.
After the operation, did you go back home at all to see your house?
Did you go back to Hungary after the war?
I never wanted to go back.
But you have been back.
I have been. But I had to go back. I had to go back because now but I'm telling you, you will not believe. Luckily, today I say luckily, my father died in Hungary, and he is buried in the cemetery in Hungary.
42.
In 42. So luckily he is buried. But my mother is not buried. Auschwitz, I don't know. I cannot go back.
You haven't been to Auschwitz?
Yeah. I have been even with my grandchildren.
What happened to your parents' house? Was someone else living there?
The Goyim took it, the Hungarians took it, nobody else took it.
I didn't care. Not our, everybody saw, everything they took off. You had two opportunities, or cope or die. You could choose. You had to. Quite a few people could not.
And what did it feel like going back after the war with your children and grandchildren? How did it make you feel?
Where to?
Back to Auschwitz to see it afterwards.
To Auschwitz.
With your children and
with you.
With me.
But you know what? When you ask, what was one mind? Proudest minute in my life, it was not going back, but coming out. Yeah. Because I saw, you see, I went back with my grandchildren. So I achieved grandchildren. When I wanted, but we came out of when we wanted, and not alone with my grandchildren. And that when I lived it, but that was one of my, you see, now I'm going on. And we will make a new life. And I haven't made a new life. I have grandchildren.
We have
great-grandchildren.
Laura, did you want to ask? Yes, there's a question on the thing.
On the chat.
Would you like people to visit these camps? Do you think it's important for people to visit these camps? Some people won't visit Poland or Germany as they feel it's helping those countries financially.
That is a difficult question that everybody must decide herself or himself. Because in a way, it is good to go. You see, because it is something else when you hear or something else when you see the place and you imagine this place, this, I don't know, thousands of people nowhere to be, how it was a situation. So it is good in a way. In another way, you build them up again. They killed you, they took you, they killed you, and you lost them.
In Auschwitz.
So what is better? I don't know. I don't know. Everybody was, I don't know. And that is no answer.
Where does the money go? Yeah.
The money, mind you, the truth is, we did not bring money because we had nothing. Yeah. We came, with our money, they could not build because we had need money. Not they took the money. The money was taken before them. They were taken for us, but not they took. Because we didn't have what to take.
I wanted to ask you, did you always have in mind to write a book? And how did the book come about?
Oh, that is much there. This book. After the war, I promised I will tell the world. And that is what I did. But then I find out with words only, no, I can't. I spoke. It was difficult. But I said, the world cannot forget what happened. They must know it. That something like that should not, don't let to happen. The first moment. And the first moment, before you get words,
Sorry to interrupt, Joanne, you've gone on mute.
or you do it now, maybe succeed. If you wait, you will not succeed. No question. And what is in this moment is easier. It is very difficult to begin something so difficult to do. You are in a bad situation alone, and you have to do ultra difficult things. It is not easy. And that was so many people gave it up. But to succeed, you had to fight. And the truth is it is in our blood. Because we Jews, all the time, well known.
Lily, firstly, thank you. We can't even have words, so I don't even want to try really. But I'm going to ask you if you'd give a bracha to everybody here and all the ladies and everybody who's ever on our Zoom. And I just want to tell my message to everybody is, look at what you have done. And I know that you'll say, but really, you really have changed the world. With whatever bits it is you've changed the world, and the world is a better place in the last year since you have been sharing this, because the lessons that are being learned and the book and this is what it is, and you have changed the world, and in the zechus of all your beautiful family.
Thank you, really, what you. Thank you. What is it? Did I know I did something?
And our blessing, and we have, every day is chosen as a day that Hashem chooses for us. And today is also the yahrzeit of Rabbi Sachs. And tonight the yahrzeit.
Today is Rabbi Sachs' yahrzeit, and tonight is the yahrzeit for
Lord Jacobowitz.
And
And we have somebody here with us.
Two big men.
And we have a very big Gedola. We have a big woman here. And I think that our lesson, each and every one of us have to take the lesson that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, you can make a huge difference in the world. And you have to just make that decision that we're going to make a difference and we're going to change the world, because by the little things we do, we change the world. And that's what we're all here for. So thank you. And if you wouldn't mind to just share your blessing.
And thank you, all of you, to listen to me. Thank you. And you learned something, but I want to learn something. I was so deep, deeper you could not go. Really not. It was not like nobody looked at us as humans. And Baruch Hashem that I am here and I can sit with you and talk like this. Thanks. You give me the opportunity.
Joanne?
So your general blessing to everybody. Yeah, we want a blessing, we want a bracha.
That Hashem should help you. You have always peaceful, nice life, and most important, a lot of nice things together with the family. And we should be a nice Jewish home. Amen.